Welcome to Lord of the Rings, the card game boot camp. The intention of this video is to help anyone who wants to know the basic techniques of each of the activities within the game before they actually start a gameplay. They want to become very familiar with it because it's a complicated game, and to make it easy to know the rules and be comfortable with them. So first, a very quick understanding of the elements of the game. There is a player deck here, noted by the ring, and the Eye of Sauron on the back of those cards that have that backing. That's the encounter cards. There are quest cards, which are the main point of the game, which is to run through these quests. They're easily found because they don't have a real back to them that's unique. Notice that there is an A symbol on one side and a B on the other side. So A is really the back, so you have it set up that way. There's a player counter token, and that's for multiple player games. This game can be played in solitaire or single player mode, or also in multiple player mode. And this token is passed around when you have multiple players playing. Then you have damage tokens, resource tokens, and quest tokens. The other thing that you have is a threat tracker, and that is really to help determine whether the enemies will engage you, and also if you become overwhelmed and the game is over. The intention of the boot camp is to make it easy to learn the rules, so it's actually set up to play along. So get your game out and play along with me. Okay, so in boot camp, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to separate the cards so that we can get them organized for the players. So first we want to separate all of the encounter cards from the player cards, and also pull out all of the quest cards. So go ahead and pause and get that done. Okay, once you have that done, the next thing that we want to do is decide on what quest we're going to go on. Now, the very first one that's proposed in the instructions is the passage through Mirkwood. That has a difficulty level of 1, and so it's really the one that we want to start with. So what we're going to do is there should be 4 cards for Passage of Mirkwood, and go ahead and separate those from the other quest cards. Alright, now if you look at the card, the side A of the card, you'll notice that there is a tree, the Mirkwood tree, the symbol for Mirkwood, the orc, and a spider. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the encounter deck, and we're going to pull out all the cards that have the symbol over here. We want that to be either the Mirkwood tree, the orc, or the spider. Here's one technique that's helpful in separating out the cards. If you'll notice, the symbol that identifies the type of card is on the right-hand side. Now, I happen to be right-handed, so if I'm moving through the cards, that symbol is kind of covered up. So if I flip the card upside down, though, I can more quickly sort the cards because that symbol is on the left-hand side if they're upside down. So that's just a technique that can apply for both of the enemy and the player cards, because the player, again, if I have it, and there you go, you've got the Gandalf card that doesn't have a symbol on it, so it's easy to find. But I find that a fast way to help me separate the cards. And just in case it wasn't clear, you should be putting the rest of the cards in the box. So your encounter deck should look much smaller now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the player cards, and we're going to separate out those. Now what you'll find is in the player cards, there are some of them that have a green coloring to them. Notice there's a ball over here, and there's a kind of book over there. So there's green colored ones, there's purple, and there's blue, and then there's red. So go ahead and separate those out into those different colors. And there will be a few cards that, I think 4 of them, that do not have a color, and those will be the Gandalf cards. So separate out the Gandalf cards as well. Okay, so once you've separated the cards, it should look something like this, with the different colors and the quest cards, the encounter cards, and the ones for Gandalf. Now, as you look at the different colors, you'll find that, depending upon whether you've played before or not, that certain cards have the word hero on them. They may be on the top of or bottom of your deck, depending upon how you've got them organized or buried somewhere in. Others may not. So each of the colors will have 3 heroes associated with them. So go ahead right now and pull out the heroes for each of the different colors and make sure that they're on the top. Now, the different colors represent what's called spheres of influence in the game, and you can see that on page 4 of the instructions. Now, there are 4 Gandalf cards because there's one for each of the different spheres of influence, the teams, if you will. And so we give a Gandalf card to each one of those different colors. So now, the next thing, if you need to decide, if you've got multiple players, which color each player is going to have. Now, even though all 4 colors are in the base game is really only designed for 1 or 2 players. You actually have to have 2 sets in order to play with 3 or 4 players. But right now, go ahead and decide which color you want. Each color has a different play style or different capabilities. Like the red, for example, is the fighter. The green has knowledge. So how they interact differs, and you can best know that by playing. So just pick a color and let's get started here.